Fortnite Save the World is finally free, only 8 years after it was first announced. But this news is massive. Almost 3 years ago, I made a video on its abandonment, and goddamn, I'm glad people were interested. Back then, one of my main points was when Epic slowed development, the plan to make Save the World free just never happened. And from that point on, the game had almost no chance to grow. But now, it seems Epic wants to give the OG mode another shot. For what reason? Who knows? Especially considering recent events. Personally, I couldn't be happier, even though I haven't played in years. And as much as I believe, despite its flaws, Save the World is a really fun game worth playing, the question remains, is it too late? Can Save the World really bounce back after being on life support? Well, that all depends on the future plans for this mode, if there even are any. So, let's talk about it. So real quick, let's go over why any of this even matters. Originally, Fortnite was mainly supposed to be a free-to-play tower defense survival game. Development lasted 6 years, from 2011 to 2017. The early access period took place from July 25th of that year until June 29th, 2020. Now, only a few months into this early access, Epic started experimenting with a Battle Royale mode, following the recent trend of popular titles from that genre. It was a really fun mode alongside the main mode at the time, and it kept getting bigger and bigger, until it became the absolute juggernaut of a game that we all know and love today. During this time, Epic would gradually shift resources to Battle Royale due to its success, which unfortunately left the OG mode in the dust. It remained a paid game its entire life. Even as it was announced, development was slowing down. It did get some more content later on, but it remained a pretty contained experience. Fast forward to March, and out of nowhere it was announced that it's going free a month later. And here we are now. That's a very dumbed down version of what happened, but if you're interested in the full story, you can always check out my last video on Save the World, after this one. But at the end of the day, it's a damn shame that Save the World got swept under the rug, because it's truly a one-of-a-kind game. Really, I can't think of a game that is quite like this one. It's a really nice mix of Orcs Must Die's tower defense mechanics and Warframe's exploration and looter shooter elements. And in both, you get to mow down hordes of enemies just like in Save the World. You can explore various biomes such as towns, cities, desert villages, and even tropical islands for materials just like in BR, as well as searching containers for items and completing various mini objectives around the map like husk encampments, building radar towers, and murdering trolls. There are tons of missions too, most of them focused on defending some kind of objective, but there's others that flip it, like clearing encampments or running resupply missions. The best part is you have complete freedom over building your own defenses. Of course, you probably won't make elaborate castles in any random mission, or crank 90s hopefully, but you can take advantage of using different materials to defend against enemy elements and build trap tunnels to funnel them exactly where you want them, and when it all comes together, it's really satisfying. Progression has also gotten a lot simpler over the years, and you're not nearly as reliant on full squads anymore, so solo or duo play is way more viable now. This is still a team game of course, but I don't want to play with none of y'all. Nah, I'm kidding. Storm Shield defenses are the big boy tests that let you unlock this new content, and is also where you get introduced to new enemies in these Borderlands ass intros, and I love these. And here is where you can build to your heart's content, cause everything you build saves for when you come back. There are a metric shit ton of unique weapons, traps, and heroes you can acquire through quests, buying them straight up, or praying to RNGesus. By obtaining the schematics, you can then craft them with various resources you find in missions. There's a good variety of weapon types you can choose from to fit your playstyle, and later on you can manually respec weapon stats to suit your needs. It's not as complex as say Warframe system, but it's still really fun. But where Save the World really stands out is the hero loadout system. Each hero has a unique effect, and you can combine them to create some absolutely ridiculous builds. The amount of freedom you get with this is great, and you can make a build to fit any playstyle your heart desires. On top of that, there's 4 different classes to choose from: soldiers, ninjas, constructors, and outlanders, each having different playstyles and pools of abilities to choose from. And while each system on its own is pretty simple, together they make for a surprisingly deep and fun build system. So I mean, sounds pretty good, right? Unfortunately, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. Some of the problems Save the World has is just a result of the kind of game it is, but a lot of it is completely on Epic in all honesty. The good news is some of this won't affect someone just starting until like 20 hours in, and practically everything mentioned can be fixed if Epic locks in. Firstly, the gameplay loop is very fun, but at a point it can definitely get pretty repetitive. One of the biggest issues is the quest design, especially the fetch quests, where you're just running around breaking or collecting specific objects. It can get pretty boring, but it is an excuse to run around exploring and collecting stuff. Also, the writing is pretty entertaining. If you treat it kinda like an audiobook, it might be a bit bearable. To Epic's credit though, they have been making more unique missions where you go to a specific area to defend, or even various boss fights, although these are usually locked behind limited time quest lines. More importantly though, bugs. Save the World is one of those games where dealing with bugs is like chopping off a Hydra's head. I wish I could say I didn't expect this game to still feel like it's held together with spit and tears, but I mean, I already encountered 2 bugs in the first 2 days coming back, and there's plenty more. I respect the fact that 6 years later the devs are still at least trying to fix the game, but sometimes I'm genuinely wondering how fucked the code is. On the topic of absolutely broken features, why the hell are animals still in the game? I will die on the hill that animals are the worst pieces of garbage to ever pollute this game. Genuinely, who asked for these guys? They're annoying, barely function properly, and honestly, they don't even make sense. Like, yeah, civilization collapsed, sure, animals move in, but raptors? The only saving grace is the glowing variants that drop loot. Otherwise, I genuinely think the game would be better off without them. The biggest problem though is that as it is right now, there still isn't much of an endgame. This also won't really affect new players much, but it's a huge issue for the long-term health of this game. There isn't much repeatable content besides ventures, which to me are nice but not that interesting, as if its whole purpose is to just be an easy way for Epic to recycle content. There's only one main storyline boss that's just an upgraded version of the boss you just fought, and the storyline as a whole technically isn't even finished. So when you basically reach the climax of a pretty interesting story, that's kinda that. That could all change though now that Save the World is free. Not gonna lie, they never did say the specifics of why they decided out of nowhere to make this mode free. To make the timing even weirder, just a few weeks after the announcement, they also laid off over 1,000 employees due to spending more than they were making, which included the lead writer for Save the World and Battle Royale, which absolutely sucks. Hopefully there's still a solid team behind it and things don't fall apart. But realistically, as horrible as the situation this is for everyone involved, I don't see this affecting Save the World too much, since the team was probably pretty small to begin with, and I don't think Epic expects this mode to suddenly start printing money either. But there is absolutely one guarantee in all of this: a lot of people will be playing the game. Over 1 million people signed up for the free-to-play release. Whether it's rigged or not, let's not even debate that right now. There's really no better time for Save the World to make a comeback than now, and it all comes down to Epic's next moves. If all this free-to-play update is just that, then there's no question that Save the World will get a good influx of players checking it out, but eventually the numbers will dwindle down like before. There's also the matter of only founders getting V-Bucks, so without that incentive there needs to be an actual reason to continue playing after a certain point. Honestly, I think there's no better time for a roadmap if anything. Show people what the plans are for the future of this game. Again, if there even are any. In the best case scenario, we get a finished storyline, a complete final zone, more endgame bosses on the level of the Storm King, maybe they start cauterizing the Hydra heads before they pop back up. If that happens, I genuinely think Save the World has a real shot. In a weird way, Save the World would probably be nowhere near as popular as it is if not for Battle Royale. So if they can get this new crowd to stick around, I can see this mode maintaining some crazy numbers after release. That's just the optimist in me though. I totally see this game just getting dropped and left at that knowing Epic. That's not gonna stop my new phase with this game though, and I absolutely recommend you try out this game if you haven't already, because I would kill to get the new player experience again. Anyway, thanks for watching. Like, sub, hit that bell, all that, and I'll catch you later.